you all, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, and welcome myself back to my channel because I've been gone for a really long time, like approximately 2 months or something like that. If any of you follow me on Instagram, you may know why. I had a bit of a health scare, had some weird blood work come back, and it just kind of took me a while to like scrape myself off of the floor and film again and not do everything on earth in an attempt to distract myself from my anxiety, basically, about my health. So I picked up a lot of extra shifts at work. I've still been doing that. I had family in town. There's just been a lot of convenient distractions for me. And unfortunately, YouTube was not one of them. But we are back now. This video is a collab with Drea CN here on YouTube. I'm going to link her channel down below and up here. And I'm also going to link her video that corresponds to this one. And we've been planning this, I swear, for like months. She came up with the idea kind of inspired by the palette Bingo and then the palette Gauntlet. If any of you have watched my first palette Bingo, I did it totally wrong. I'm not sure what happened. It kind of went off the rails as I went along, and I was like, this is way harder than it's supposed to be, and I screwed up. So I ended up calling it a palette Gauntlet because it was just extremely difficult. So I'm going to do that again, but Drea's idea was that we do 5 different palettes and basically randomize a shadow from each one of those palettes, and we would, of course, pick one another's palettes that they had to choose from. But I added an extra challenge for myself in that instead of just being inspired by the color scheme and the palettes as I go along, I'm actually going to attempt a specific look from the beginning. I'm going to try and grunge it up, because I know a lot of you found my channel based on my grunge videos, and I've just been neglecting them. I don't know why. I always tell myself, like, every grunge makeup tutorial has already been done, but it doesn't stop me from watching them for some reason. I still like being inspired by grunge makeup, and it's just like my favorite kind of style to do. So, keeping in the spirit of grunge, that's what we're gonna do. I'm going to try and fit this extremely difficult challenge into some sort of grungy pattern or style. I'm not really sure how it's going to work out, but anyway, the rules are I randomize an eyeshadow from each palette. So whichever palette she chose for me, I pick one shadow from each palette, randomize it on a randomizer app or website, whatever, and get that eyeshadow, and then I use it somewhere on my eye without any regard for the shadows to come. That's why it's a gauntlet, not just bingo. I can't pick all my shadows ahead of time. I have to do one at a time and apply them as I go along and just see where it takes me. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I know this is like a really long-ass intro. Thanks for hanging in there, and let's do it. So, Drea I'm doing the same thing she did. She was like, email me the palette selection so that I can kind of be surprised by it when I sit down to film. So that's what I'm going to do. I have no idea which palettes she has chosen for me, but we're about to find out. Here we go. It's interesting that I have kind of chosen to go into grunge mode here because some of these palettes are definitely on the grungy side. At least 3 of them are more muted and grungy, and the first one, though, totally not what I was expecting. It doesn't really fit in with any of the others, which is going to make this interesting. This BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival. Let's do it. So I'm going to randomize a shade from the palette and find out which one we get. 8 is our number. So I'm just going to count, across the row here. And number 8... I'm excited that this is the one that it is, to be perfectly honest, is Wicked. Right here. That iridescent purple shade. Yeah, I'm down. I think I can work with that. So I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyes, get my brushes, get my foiling medium. It's setting spray. Let's get to it. Now, my favorite brush to use for challenges like this, because it's so versatile and I can use it to blend a little bit. It's definitely not a fluffy brush, but it is the Real Techniques shading brush. I love this brush so much, and to my knowledge, you still cannot get it on its own. You have to buy it as a set, and like the other 2 or 3 of the brushes that came in this set, I just didn't even use, so it like bums me out that I would have to buy the set all over again just to get a second one of these brushes. Real Techniques, I love you all. Like, I seriously do. I love your channel and everything you're about. except for the whole not being able to buy some brushes on their own. Why do they have to be in sets? Kind of sucks that I'm not starting with a matte, and that I do have to start with like a foiled shade, but it's just gonna make it all the more interesting, especially in terms of grunge. How in the hell am I gonna do this? I don't know. It's just gonna turn into what it turns into, and we're gonna try to fade it out and make it grunge. So I'm gonna start, I don't know, my instincts are telling me to like start near my lash line, and that's what we're gonna do, but only on like the center like that. Kind of fade out the edges a little bit. So I'm gonna do like a half moon sort of on both eyelids. I'm actually gonna do it on the bottom lash line too, as best I can. Kind of bummed that I have to switch palettes now. I'm having so much fun with this one. Now that is a look. I could probably wear that. Just this. All right, here we go. Moving on. Next palette is Come As You Are, which is this Carity palette. My first Carity palette that I've ever owned. This palette, if you all are unfamiliar with it, it is somewhat new. Not super new. It was new to me when I bought it. I'm rolling the dice with this one because there are a few shades in there I'm not particularly fond of. 12. Oh no. Wow, I got like the tamest shade in this entire palette. That is Liv right here, which I'm assuming is sort of named after Liv Tyler. I am gonna switch brushes though. Another one of my favorite Real Techniques brushes that to my knowledge you cannot get on its own, and that is the Essential Crease Brush. It's one of those shades I'm not particularly a fan of. Now my idea for this is kind of putting it in my crease. Yeah, I realize that is probably sort of a cop-out, but at the same time, I got a transition shade, I might as well use it, and honestly, this shade is not pigmented. This shade is not saturated enough for me to use it on its own, so we're just gonna do this. I'm going to drag it up kind of high so that whatever I put on top of it or on afterward, you'll be able to see the halo here kind of coming out of the top. I mean, it is what it is so far. I don't know. I might like wear that. I would like wear this. 2 palettes down, 3 to go. It is the ColourPop Perception palette, the Makeup Shayla collaboration. This is the first one. I think they've since had a second one come out that honestly is also extremely beautiful. But this is the first one, just to remind you all. Very muted color scheme as I was making the video to send to Drea for her to pick out which palettes she was going to choose from. They all look so freaking similar. Oh my god. It was like the first time I'd ever just laid out all of my palettes with them open before. Oh my god. They look so similar. I'm like, it's all like muted jewel tones. That's like all I buy. It's pathetic. So let's randomize what shade I'm going to choose. 16. I got the last shade, and honestly, that worked out pretty freaking perfectly because I need like a dark shade, and it is this aptly named shade. Only thing is it has like micro glitter on it, in it. I'm not a huge fan of shades with micro glitter, but I'm just gonna use it like I would like a dark shade, I guess. I'm still gonna stick with the grunge shape here. I'm gonna use this to darken up my outer and inner corners here to sleepify my eye a little more. Bringing it down a little bit under here, up and around. I'm not really allowed to go back in with any previous shades. I can blend. That's about as good as we're gonna get right there. I think that's about as good as it's gonna get, putting this like dry matte shade on top of a shade that I've already foiled. Yeah. Let's move on. The next one. This just keeps getting somewhat more difficult because I have a feeling I'm probably gonna get neutrals in either of the next palettes that I do. So the next one is the Too Faced Peanut Butter and Jelly. This is gonna be an interesting one. But because if I get that white shade, oh, what the am I going to do? Just have like an inner corner highlight? That's no fun. All right, here we go. Oh, okay, so I got Jammin', which honestly, I was hoping for either Peanut Butter or Nuts About You. But I got Jammin'. Honestly, I would have taken Peanut Brittle too, but I got this one right here, the dark purple. So at least one of the more interesting shades in the palette. I'm going to bring that up a little bit. I think I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to use this. It's a very like plum shade, so a little bit darker than what most people would use like for grunge makeup, but doable. I'm just going to use it to fill in any kind of discrepancies here. Maybe add up, build that up a little bit to make it more, a little bit shinier. Faded it in a little bit. This is going so far off course from grunge. It's not even funny. I'm trying to keep the feel of grunge. You know what this smells like? A Swisher Sweet. I figured it out. Or like a Black and Mild. I don't know. It smells like a sweet cigar, which coincidentally may be what Too Faced names their next palette. Sweet cigar. I don't know. I still think I'm evoking a grunge sort of feel here. Future grunge, if you will. Brings me to my next palette. And that is, you guessed it, Noctex Future Grunge. That would be this palette right here. I love this palette. I love the packaging. I love the colors. It's so easy to throw a really grungy look together with. And I know what color I want. I know what like 2 colors that I would like to get. Here we go. Here we go. This is gonna be crazy. Okay. Number 3. Yes. Yes. It's the red one. Burgundy one. That's gonna bring this whole thing home, I think. So, yes. Yes. Okay, let's do it. What I'm going to do is pile it on my brush here, and then I'm just going to use it to blend out my edges here and blend them into that peach. Oh yeah. This look could have gotten real muddy real fast, and I'm going to swatch out all those shades on my arm when I get done with this, just so we can see the color palette I'm working with here. I don't know. It looks kind of muddy, but at the same time, like it's kind of the feel I was going for. So I'm okay with it, I think. I'm gonna do the rest of my face. All right, so this is the finished look. I am surprised how much I like it and how like wearable it is. I could honestly wear this pretty much anywhere. That's just me. I know everybody has different tastes and different comfort levels when it comes to their makeup. But for me, I could totally wear this out. The lipstick I used, I kind of mixed it together to make like a reddish brown shade because I thought that would go well with the outer corner and what I have going on here. Honestly, I could have put like a gloss on or something if I had one. I ran out of my favorite lip gloss, have not gotten it again yet. So anyway, this is what I came up with. I really like it. It's kind of weird, but it's a look. I don't know. Let's swatch this palette out just to see what it would look like if you were to like buy it at a store. Yeah, this is definitely 100% not a color palette I would ever choose for myself. This is what it looks like. I don't know about it, y'all. I do not know. They all look similar. Those last 3 shades are way too similar for something that I would obviously put together on my own, but the 3 of them combined make sort of an interesting effect here on my outer eye. So yeah, I don't know. This was definitely a challenge. I've never done this challenge or anything similar where I've gotten so many shades that look so close to one another, but that's what we ended up with, and I think it's kind of a look. It's not super precise or anything, not exactly grunge in the literal sense, but definitely evokes somewhat of a grungy shape right here. Sleepy eye effect, where I've concentrated most of the dark shadows on my outer corner and in my socket. So anyway, I highly recommend you go check out Drea's video. I'm sure hers is much more interesting than mine. I hope she ended up getting some better colors than I did. So yeah, I can't wait to see it myself. Anyway, if you want to check out our previous collab, I will also link that down below because it was just as fun. And in fact, I think it was like a fun house look is what I ended up coming up with on that one. So that was kind of cool. However, I do like the way this turned out. It's oddly wearable, but I'm really liking the way this purple and this reddish brown on the outer corner look together. I don't know what it is. I never would have thought to put those 2 colors together, but what do you know? I learned something tonight and it was really fun. So anyway, if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and follow me or subscribe to my channel if you want to. I will link my Instagram and all that down below, even though I don't really post much on those other social media platforms. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.